Alright, what's up YouTube? Voodoo here, coming to you not from my usual location in the RC dungeon, but from here on my air-conditioned lanai. It's ungodly hot today. Down in the basement in the RC dungeon, I've got the printer running, I've got the battery charger running. It's noisy down there, so I decided to come out here today to film this video. So I teased it on my Instagram. Talk about the AR wing, my build of the AR wing. So there's a group build in the iNav Facebook group AR wing build. It's a good build. It's perfect for beginners, for your first machine. I wanted a little more out of my AR wing, so I'm going to give you my setup. I'm going to tell you what I put into mine. I'm going to tell you, you know, what I got going on here and the kind of performance that I'm getting out of the wing that I built. So the AR wing, if you're new to FPV, long-range FPV, wings in general, planes, fixed wing, if you came from quads and you're new to that, you're new to iNav, chances are someone has recommended to you an AR wing. And I can see why. They're easy to build and they fly pretty good. You know what I mean? You can throw a GoPro style camera in here and an FPV cam, and if you get it from ready-made RC, it comes pretty much ready to fly. But you know, the iNav group obviously puts iNav in theirs, and that's what I've done here too. So let's take a look at the plane. I've got just regular Emax ES08MA servos, standard gear. I've got an AKK X2 with smart audio. I think it goes up to 1 watt. Put out here on this wing with the AX2 5.8 antenna poking through the top. I've got a R9 MM under here, under this little panel here. I put this panel just as a lid. And here's the antenna. On the top, it's on a straw to keep it upright, and then the bottom is just heat shrink a bunch of times to keep it stiff. So it bends on landing, but it springs back. Pretty standard so far. You know what I mean? I got a Cadex Vertel camera in here because I may do some night flying with it. This is a BN220 GPS. Let's take a look at the inside. I'm running a 2200 4-cell. I've got an F722 here and a Runcam 5 up in the nose here. It just slides right in. Now, let's talk about what I did different than the group build. Obviously, it was a 722 instead of a 405, but that's really just a matter of preference. You can use a 405 if you prefer. You know, if it makes your life easier, just do it. Mine's all pinned out, so the wings are still removable on this. I've got a 40 amp regular ESC with the heat sink back here. The reason I did not go with the quad ESC, even though it would have weighed less, is I wanted a heat sink because this is inside the build. You know what I mean? So whenever I'm putting an ESC inside of a plane, I want the biggest, best heat dissipation I possibly can. So I want a big ESC, over amped, you know, and with a big heat sink to cool it down. So I've got a 40 amp ZTW. It's tucked in here. You can't really see it, but it's under this spar right here. It's kind of holding it in. And this build does, as set up right now, does not draw ever more than 20 amps. I think I've seen 14 is the highest. So this comes down even after 20-minute flights, and I am getting 20-minute flights out of a 2200 4-cell. This ESC comes down ice cold, which is beautiful. I have no doubt that I could push this plane as far as I want, and this ESC is not going to fail. Now let's talk about motors. So I'm a big fan of this motor. You've probably seen it on some of my other builds. It's Sunny Sky X2216-8 1250 kV. On 4-cell, this is a fantastic motor. On my Mini Talon, I run it with an 8x6 prop. And that's a good setup. On this, I chose to go with an 8x4 prop. Now, this motor with an 8x6 prop on this wing will make an unbelievably fast wing. So you've got a great setup here for versatility. Because with the 8x4, you can get long flight times and slow amp draw, long range, good distance, and you know, I'll have some video playing of a flight from this morning, 20-minute flight on a 2200 4-cell. You know what I mean? And the amp draw is, mine's a little miscalibrated. I'm still working on dialing in the sensor, but it says it's between 6 and 8 amps. I would imagine it's actually between like 4 and 6 amps, because if you watch the video, see at the end that I've used more than 2200 milliamp hours of battery, which is not possible because I have a 2200. So obviously mine's still a little out, and I still got to dial that in a little bit better. But anyway, the 2216 with the 8x4 prop, plenty of power for this build. Top speeds around 70 miles an hour, high 60s, maybe 70 miles an hour. At 50% throttle, it draws like next to no amps and cruises perfectly. It will fly at less than that. You can probably take it down to 30% throttle, and it still won't stall. Because it's, we're making a lot of thrust with this motor prop combo. But at 50%, it seems to be the best for the airframe. It makes it the flying the smoothest. Lower than that, it starts to get a little wobbly. So I'm setting my auto throttle at 50%. If you want to go for even more flight time, even more efficiency, you could take that down to 40%, even 35%, and probably you're going to be fine. I'll leave that testing up to you. I like flying in mine at 50%. Rarely do I need more than 20 minutes and 15 miles of flight. So, which is what I'm getting out of this plane. So that's the major difference between mine and the group build 40 amp ESC, 1250 kV 2216, 8x4 prop. Now I've heard people say that running this motor you can't get CG. As you can see, I put my gear back on the wings here, back behind the CG marks. CG marks are up here. I've got my flight controller mounted behind the CG, my ESC mounted behind the CG, and when I built this wing, it hit the CG marks exactly, with the battery all the way up in the front. As you can see, I put in a couple little foam spacers here to move it back about 3/8 of an inch, so that my CG actually falls just behind these marks, which if you've ever messed with AR wings, these are a little on the safe side, and the CG actually is right behind it. So I'm hitting it perfectly now. But I don't know why anyone would say you can't hit this CG with this motor. You absolutely can with a 4-cell 2200. It's perfect. There's no lead in this build whatsoever, just the run cam in the front. So that's my build. You've probably been watching down here in the bottom. I hope I've put a little DVR footage so you can see what's going on with the efficiency. It's just a boring flight, so I've sped it up. Flying, it's just circles around the field, circles with figure eights. Just to test the efficiency. After I'm done talking here, we'll put up a video of some actual some HD footage from the run cam from this morning. It's ungodly hot, so I went out early this morning, caught a decent time, and there wasn't much wind about 9 o'clock in the morning, and was able to have a pretty good flight. So I'll put some of that footage up right now. So that's my build. That's what I do with my AR wing. I like it. I like the wing. I like the package. I recommended it to lots of new pilots where, this is a good setup just as it comes with the 5-inch or 6-inch prop on 3-cell. It's great. It's great to learn on. If you want to push it a little further, you want a little more out of your wing, this is my setup, my preferred setup. The other thing I did to this wing is, of course, I cut Coroplast winglets. Not necessary. I just like them better than the foam, and they're glued on. Just in the future, Sonic model, if you're watching this, if you're listening, even if we're going to take the wing apart, no one's ever going to take the winglets off. I glued mine on. They're staying on there. And they got the screws in them too, so they're screwed and glued. Anyway, so enjoy the flight footage. If you have a similar build, let me know. If anyone else wants to try this setup that I've got going here, I'm loving it. I'm thinking, as far as I'm concerned, and opinions vary widely, this is the best package for the AR wing. This is the best motor combo, prop combo. I don't see how much better, other than going to Lion, with all that entails, making your packs, whatever, trying to limit the amp draw. This setup with this motor would work fantastic with a Lion setup. Anyone wants to try a lithium ion, an 18650 build with this motor and prop combo, you are going to get unbelievable good flight time. If you do tag me, let me know. I'd like to see it. But I like LiPo 2200. This is enough for me. I think this is the best setup. And like I said, just my opinion, but it's working out well for me. So enjoy the flight footage, and we'll see you next time.